Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as anonymous? I am a South African woman and I am only aged 30 years old. I don't know if I will ever be able to have a child in my life. My story, it happened, this was 5 years ago, and I was ready at that time to have a child. I had told myself when I was still in university that I needed a man that had triple C's in his life, and by this I mean I wanted a man that had a car, a man that had cash, and a man that had more cash on top of the cash that he had. Even if he would go broke, no one will ever see that he has gone broke, because he would have more money than what he used to have. That was what I wanted. In short, I wanted a man that had multiple investments all over the world. I did not want to settle for a man that was just having investments in our country, in South Africa. No, I wanted a man that was going to tell me that I have shares in Google, I have shares in Apple, I have shares in China, I have shares wherever that they buy these shares. That was my goal. So I started dating when I was in grade 11. There were guys that would come to me, that would propose love to me, that will tell me that they wanted to sleep with me. But whenever I would think about what I wanted to bring later on to the table, when it will be time for me to start dating, I would refuse any offer. Even if a person would say that they would buy a phone for me, take me out, I would say, I'm not going to lose my virginity to a broke man. I would rather lose my virginity to a man that would book the most expensive hotel so that he can deflower me. Not having a man to deflower you whilst you are at the back of the car. No, that was not what I wanted in my life. So I went to high school. Then after high school, I then went to varsity. When I was in varsity, the pressure, it was really on, the pressure for me to sleep with other men. But I made sure that even if I dated, if you would make the mistake of just telling me that you wanted to sleep with me, immediately I'll just dump you. Even if you say that you have spent so much of my money, to me it really did not even matter at all. All that I wanted was a man that was rich. It then happened that when I was now 25 years old, I was already working because I was a high achiever at school. So I then started working. Whilst I was working, I was able to buy myself a car, and I was renting a nice apartment. So there were men that would come to me, and these men, they'll be like, I want to date you. And I'll be like, you say that you want to date me. I have bought myself a car. I have a salary. I can do my hair. I can take myself out. I have a car. I have money. What is it that you're going to give to me? Besides, I'm still a virgin. No man has ever touched my private parts. What is so special about you financially that I'm going to say, oh, this man has told me that he loves me. What are you going to bring into my life? So most of these men, they were not in my league. They were unable to give me what I wanted. Then one day I was invited by this other friend, because I was now staying at a different apartment. There was this other apartment where I was staying, and it was in a complex, and in that complex, most of the people that were staying there, like, they were filthy rich. And then I became friends with this other woman. So this woman, what she used to do was that whenever I would go jogging early in the morning, then this woman, she would also join me. Then we would go for a 30 minutes jogging. This we used to do at 6 a.m. early in the morning. That was when we used to do it. So we became friends, and then she would invite me to her apartment. She told me that she was dating a rich politician. She used to be an air hostess for Flight Emirates. So then there was this other particular trip when there was this other politician. He was going on a vacation with his wife, and as she was serving them, and then that was when the politician just made a wink to her to show her that he wanted her. So then that was when this girl started dating this big politician, and from there on, the politician then told her that he did not want her to continue working. He wanted her to just stay at home because he was very jealous with the way that she was beautiful. So that is how she started staying at that very expensive place where I was also renting. As for me, like I was just renting there, but each and every month I'll be broke. To tell you the truth, I'll be left with no money because my salary will just cover the amount for the rent as well as to cover the fees that you pay at the security gate and just being offered the services that they offered you in that gated community. So I was just living really in debt on my credit card. It was the one that was covering all the living expenses, and all of my money was going to the rent and the fuel to go to work, and there was no one who knew that this was what I was going through. So I started to lose like that zeal to go to work, because you would go to work, you come back, you don't have money really at the end of the month, you go out clubbing and you just take some pictures, eyestroppers, just making people to believe that you are enjoying your life, but really you don't have money at all. So I knew that it was time for me to get a boyfriend, and I was ready for a child, and I wanted a man whom I was going to trap. I would fall pregnant for a rich man that was married. I did not want someone that was single. A married guy whom I was going to trap with the pregnancy, so that the man can start to take care of me and the pregnancy and the child as well. And one day we went out with a friend. There was this other place where there was a nice party, and there were a lot of rich guys that were there. That was when I met the guy that I started dating. This guy, he approached me. I was all alone because my friend, she was with her boyfriend. So there were times when I would be on my own. Then the guy came to me. He then introduced himself and he told me that he was from Zim. And I was like, oh, cool. So what do you do? He then told me that he had came to South Africa, like he nearly had less than a year being in South Africa. And I asked him, okay, so on what visa, like, are you legal or you're not legal? And then that was when he told me that he had a business visa. And I was like, oh, so is it easy for someone to get a business visa? Like, I wanted to investigate him before we can start dating. So then he told me, and he said, no, that visa, it is very hard for you to get that visa. And I said, so how much does it cost you? And then he told me, with the lawyer fees and everything, paying my South African lawyers who were handling the whole process, I had to pay them round about 200 and something K, because this took a very long time. So they were the ones that were running around with my documentation. And I said, 200K? And he said, yeah. And you have like an investment of around about 5 million that you have to put on the table, that you are going to invest in South Africa. And I was wondering, this guy, how much does he has when he has to just put so much money on the table so that he can get a business visa? He then told me that he had opened up a manufacturing plant in Durban, and I asked him how much it was, and he said, with my business partner from India that I have, we ended up doing a 12 million joint venture. I nearly collapsed. Lol, this is real thing that happened when he was speaking with me, I nearly collapsed and I felt like I wanted him at that time. This was the guy that I had been waiting for. I even felt vibrations inside of my private part, and I was like, this is the guy that is going to deflower me. We spoke, and then when he asked for my phone numbers, and I was like, I am an independent woman. You have to know that. I'm going to show you my salary, and are you able to show me your bank account? And it was like, oh, okay, that is weird. There is no woman that has ever asked me to show them my bank account because I want their phone numbers. And I was like, I'm a woman who knows what she wants. Okay, let me start. That was when I took out my phone and then I showed the account that I get my money into, the Absa one, and I said, this is my salary. It's not that much, but for a woman, I'm doing so great. And it was like, wow, you make a little bit of money there. Okay, since you have started, let me also show you my own. I don't have a salary as such because I'm someone who's running a business, and it's hard for me to even pay myself because I keep on investing into the business. And I said, okay, fine. That was when he took out his phone. He then opened up his F&B business. Oh my God. It took me a while to be able to count the zeros that were there. He was also laughing at me, and he said, okay, so what's up now? Because there was round about 8 mil that was in the account, and he said, so this is the money that I say I have when I am broke. And I was like, wow, I've never seen $1 million before. Like, is this money for real? And he told me that yes, it was for real. That was the capital that was always there in his business account. And I was like, thanks God, I finally found the guy that I have been waiting for. So I was all over him, protecting him from the other single ladies that I saw with him. Then later on, I knew what I wanted, and I told him that I wanted to see where he stayed, and I followed him. He had a beautiful car that he was driving. It was a BMW, and I was driving behind him. We then went to Senton where he was staying. We arrived at the place where he was staying with one of his friends. We kissed when we were about to make love, and then I told him that I was still a virgin and I was not ready to be deflowered on that night. And he said, okay, that's cool. And I said to him, do something great for me, then you can deflower me as much as you can. And he asked me what I wanted, and I said, I want a car, and I want this car for cash. So then later on, we went to a dealership. He ended up buying a Lexus for me. And after he had bought the car for me, that was when I told him that I was ready for him to sleep with me. The night when I spent a night with a Satanist, I did not even know that this guy, he was a devil worshipper. With all the money that he had, he worshipped the devil. He is part of a secret society of business people here in South Africa. He came and he collected me. It was somewhere around 1 p.m. We then went, we had a nice lunch, and we were by this other resort. I thought that we were going to spend the night there. It was so beautiful. The room in which we were booked into, like, you could have a nice view of the lake. There were people that were playing golf. We did romance. He stripped me down. I was just wearing my lingerie, nothing else. He touched me, romance, and I thought that he was going to penetrate me, but there was nothing. He then said, let us go to my place. That is the place where we're going to do this. We got into the car. We drove back home. He was also holding my hand, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I was tired of driving these small boys, those ones that drive a manual car. When you are dating a man that drives a manual car, there is no time for romance. He can't even hold your hand when he is driving his car because his hand has to be on the gearbox at all the times, shifting and shifting. And this guy, he was holding my hand. I was even imagining becoming his wife. We got to Santon at the place where he was staying. He stayed in a very big mansion. When we got inside, I asked him how many rooms it had. He told me that it had 20 rooms. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So it was in the evening. He had bought this lingerie for me and I put it on, and then he said, go upstairs, I'm going to come, please wait for me, I have some few calls that I need to make. I waited for the guy for 2 hours until I fell fast asleep. Hey, when I woke up, the things that I saw, I can never forget. It was like a movie, because I woke up. To my surprise, I felt something that was very cold on my stomach. When I woke up, I saw a snake. There was a big giant python that was lying on top of me. I wanted to scream. I could not even scream at all. That snake, it slept with me throughout the night. I was only able to wake up the very next day. When I woke up the next day, when I felt that now I could be able to move my body, because throughout the night my whole body was stiff. When I woke up and I said, and then what happened last night? I saw a snake here. It was sleeping on top of me and you were nowhere to be found. I could not scream. I could not do anything. He said, no, what you saw was just your own imagination. That is what he told me. We then started fighting and he said, girl, you're so weird. Like I was the one that was now weird with everything that I had seen in his house. He then said that since I was acting all weird and stuff, he did not feel so much comfortable being around me. He wanted me to be out of his house, and I said, okay, at least for my dignity, take me to my apartment. He drove with me to my apartment and he left me by the gate. I had to limp until I reached the place where I was staying. All that I got from this man was the Lexus that he bought for me. That is what I got for losing my virginity to this guy. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section.